like the stream is going now. Dean, you want to start us off and introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Dean Dunning, and I am half of Meepletown. John is the other half. He unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, and I am live here from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, right outside Nashville, which is where Keith is. So that's me.
Welcome. Thanks for joining to play with us tonight. Keith, why don't you tell people who you are?
Well, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so my name's Keith Piggott. So I'm the designer of the Great Barrier Reef card game, and I also am from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, along with Dean, and happy to be here and showing you off the game tonight.
Fantastic. I'm Joshua Lobkowitz. I am the one-man operation behind Travel Buddy Games, the publisher of this Great Barrier Reef card game, and I'm excited that you guys could come on and join and play, and I hope we can show off the game to some people who haven't seen it, or some of the backers who I know are excited to see it played.
Yeah, excited. Sounds great.
Let's do this.
So, Keith, do you want to run through the rules with people? I'll go. Oops, I've made the. I'm in my wrong window,
Sure.
So I dragged everything around. But if you want to go ahead and run people through how to play, I'll try and keep us focused on the action that you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Great Barrier Reef, it's a pretty simple game. So the idea behind this is it's a real simple rule set, but there's a lot of pretty good thinky decisions there. So what you're going to be doing on your turn is you're trying to arrange the different fish on your cards. And let me see if I can throw one out here on the table just for you to look at here. So you're trying to arrange these in different patterns. So up at the top here, we've got the different scoring cards, and you can see like the butterfly fish wants to be 4 in a block, or the clownfish wants to be 4 in an L shape. And so you're trying to get these fish into the different patterns to score that many points. So on your turn, you take a card from your hand. You're always going to have 3 cards in your hand. And the first one you're just going to put down on the table. And the number in the middle of the card tells you which card from this market here you're going to take into your hand for next time. And then that one's available for you to play next turn. Now, after you played one card, on your next turn, you have to overlap something in your reef. So you can't put it to the side of the existing card. You can't do something like that. It has to overlap at least one of the quadrants. So that's where the real puzzly element comes into play, because you're always going to be covering something up. So it makes it a little bit tricky. Now, some things in your reef, the fish, of course, you want to get into different patterns. But then we have some other things in the reef that will score you points or help you kind of adjust the scoring up on these different cards up here. So the sea urchin, which is this kind of thorny looking thing here, those are just negative points.
I'll jump in and correct you, because that's an update from when this was a prototype. That is the invasive crown of thorns starfish.
Oh, thank you very much.
He's still just a negative.
Yeah,
but
I told you I'd mess up and go back to the old version here. But yep, crown of thorns starfish is something that you want to cover up, because those are just negative points. And so any one of those that's uncovered, like this one here, is going to be worth -2 at the end of the game. You also have sponges, which are these orange ones up here. Those, if you leave them uncovered, they're worth a point for you at the end of the game. But if you cover them up, then that's when you actually get to adjust scoring. So let's say that I'm going after this pattern for these red snappers here, which is the 3 diagonal. Well, if I cover this sponge up, then I could do something like, let's take the score marker and move it up a level. And so now that's making that more valuable for me at the end of the game. So hopefully Dean and Josh aren't going after those as well. There are also sharks, which we haven't seen one yet, but they're very similar. They are worth 2 points if you leave them uncovered at the end of the game. But if you cover one of them up, you get to adjust the scoring 1 level up, and you get to adjust another scoring 1 level down. So you could try to move something down that your opponents are going for. And then the last one, these are just coral, right, Josh?
Yep. You got it.
Okay, so the pink pink is just coral. So those are just straight points. You want to try to leave them uncovered if you can. So each one of those is worth a point at the end of the game. And it's a pretty quick playing game. It takes about 15 minutes per person. And all the scoring is done at the end. So at the end, you look at all the patterns that you have, you add in all the positive points that you have, and you take off anything for the starfish, the invasive starfish. And that is basically the game.
Yeah, that's great. One thing I'll jump in and add is that the 5 scoring cards that we have out at the start of the game are what this game started with at the beginning of the Kickstarter. We've already added 2 more since the game has been ongoing, and we hope to get it up to about 9 by the time we're done, which adds a lot of variety and replayability to the game. I'll also note for people watching at home that this upside down discard deck up here consists of the cards that we removed from the game, and at every player count but 5, you remove a significant portion of the deck. So there's really no way to kind of memorize what you're going to get or what's upcoming. Every turn you're going to have to reevaluate what is out there and try and make the best play with kind of some imperfect knowledge of what's coming up, which is something that I really like about the game. Keith, do you want to go ahead and go first, since you've gone ahead and showed us your whole hand through?
Yeah, I've shown my strategy here, so this is going to be a big surprise what I'm going to do. But yeah, so one of the things I'm looking at kind of my starting hand is I do have those 3 red snappers that will be perfect for forming that pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this one out here to start my tableau. Let me maybe move it over here a little. And that has a number 3 on it, so that will allow me to take the card number 3 here into my hand. And then I'll go ahead and deal here, but we'll flip out another card to replace that. And that is the whole turn.
And on my screen, it's got Keith in the top left, Dean in the top right, and me in the bottom left. I don't know if everybody's is different, but Dean, you want to go next, and that will just kind of function clockwise, at least from the stream's perspective.
Yeah, sure.
I tried to make it easy for me, but then I passed it off as easy for the viewers because I'm looking out for them.
Well, I tell you what, I want that card that you just flipped over, and I have a 3 in my hand, but it's not going to be really beneficial. So I think what I'm going to do is play my 4 here and kind of go for that butterfly fish route. I'm not sure, is this kind of a good area to place it over here, Josh?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I'll go ahead and set up camera shots for us as we play, and I'll maybe just kind of go off to the top right, and we'll just bounce around on the stream as needed.
Perfect. And then I will place that, which will allow me to take this, 4 into my hand, and then I will draw this card. Whoop. There we go. Not into my hand, though. Whoops, sorry about that. Flip that right there. There we go.
Trying to cheat already, Dane.
I am. Familiarizing myself.
All right, and then it's back to me, and I'm going to roll off to the top right here, and I've been so focused on getting the camera set up that I haven't actually thought about my turns very much. But let's see. We've got 3 in a row is not so tricky to go for, so I'll go ahead and drop this damselfish up here. Start my tableau, and that's a 4. So we'll go ahead and take the card in the 4 slot to my hand. And let me just lock in my position here. And that's a round.
All right. So back to me here. All right, so big surprise here. We're going to keep working on that red snapper pattern. So I'm going to place this one down here. And again, it has to overlap something. So that's a valid placement. And that's going to give me the number 1 card. So I'm going to take that one into my hand.
It's funny that we got a whole preview of your opening 3 turns. I think that you might see some shark action coming your way to bring down the value of those snappers sooner or later.
Yeah. I see the strategy and getting me to. Yeah, I see why Josh wanted me to explain the game now. So.
All right, that's back over to me then, and I do want that 3 spot mostly. That's why I'm going to place this. So I'm going to put this here so I can start building on that 4. This a 4 and a block there, which I feel like is potentially going to be a lot of points. I did not cover anything special up, so I'll just play that and then take this 3 into my hand and flip it.
You have a thing for those the big points one, huh? On your Meepletown stream when you covered this, you went for the 4 and a block play as well.
It's go big or go home for me. I don't win a lot of games, so you're about to find out, I think.
Oh, good. I tried to drag the camera around and ended up spinning everything. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and continue extending my 3 in a row with these damselfish. Oops. Well. I've got to not hover so long, otherwise it keeps making a deck. And I realize I'm keeping a lot of these starfish uncovered, which is not going to be great for me in the long run. Since I can take anything I want, I'll go ahead and take this one in the 1 position. I don't know if we actually covered that, but when you play a card with the star in the center instead of a number, it lets you draw from any position in the marketplace. So I'm going to take this because it has the most visible points showing, and also gives me one of those damselfish that I want to complete my pattern. All right, back to Keith.
All right, so I'll go ahead and finish out my pattern here, which is as far as forward as I've thought. So we'll see what we do next turn. But so this is going to do a couple of things now on this one. So first of all, I'm going to get card number 4, but I'm also covering up a sponge. So the sponge will let me adjust the scoring up on one of the scorecards up here, which big surprise to everybody. I'm going to move up the red snappers and make those more valuable.
One of the things I want to call out in this is that Tabletopia is really cool in the way that it lets you pretty easily drop in some assets, and so those shaped coral meeples that we have lying down on those cards are going to come kind of just like that for the game. The one thing that is different is obviously we have them laying down where they cover up a little bit of the data, but the way that they're designed, they're going to stand upright and fill those slots. So when you're looking at it on the table, you'll have a little upright coral in your physical copy, which is really pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like the way that looks, Josh. That's a cool decision, I think.
Yeah, it was one of the things we tossed around as a stretch goal early on, but it was so important to me that it had that kind of table presence that we stuck it in right from the beginning, because I wanted to make sure every copy of the game was guaranteed to have those cool bits.
That's great. All right, it is back over to me, correct? So I will, since Josh has me figured out, I'm going to go a different route now. I'm going to go for the, put my clownfish down there and start working on something else. And I've got 2 things going on here. And a good reason for me placing that too is I really want that 1 card. And I like having those, I like having the wild cards out there that let me get whatever I want. So turns are so fast in this game.
Yeah, I certainly have to give Keith a lot of credit for this market mechanism, because I haven't seen it in any other game, and I love having to make that decision about playing the card that I want in my reef versus playing the card that gets me the card that I want. And when you can do both, it is so satisfying.
Yeah, it gives it that right level of kind of puzzliness, but not too intense. So I think it works really well.
All right, so I've already started extending my reef in a way that's going to encroach on the deck here, but I'm going to go ahead and move my guys over a bit. And finally got to get rid of one of those starfish, so that feels good. Go ahead and draw the 2. Back to Keith.
All right. And like I said, I've reached the extent of my master plan here. So now we start winging it. I think maybe the best thing for me to do, at least at the moment, is to place this right here. So this is hopefully working towards a the square pattern for the butterfly fish, but we'll see how that works out. But for right now, that's going to give me number 4. And let me flip a card here. Oh, let me grab that one I just threw out there by mistake.
You can put that in my hand. I'll take that.
No, I like that card.
All right. Well, I am past my master plan too there, Keith. I would love to get that one card, but that's not exactly what I need, I guess. So I think I'm just going to keep working. Hate to cover this up. I'm going to keep working over here, I think. And it's not really the card. One thing I like about this too is that the card you play is not often the one that's going to be the one that's going to give you the best card that you want to take. On the flip side, the card that you play, you might want to play a terrible card so that you can get the card that you want. I just think that decision is so difficult and frustrating. All right, let's do that.
It's that you stress though, right?
You do it to yourself.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I didn't have to do that, but I made my bed.
All right. Now, I like that 3. It's got the shark on it, and those are particularly useful. I'm not really sure how I'm going to build a useful pattern with this, but I'm definitely going to throw my number 3 card out here, cover up one of those Crown of Thorns Starfish, and get the shark card to play later.
All right, and I think I need to start, if I'm going to try to do this 4 square pattern of butterfly fish here, I need to kind of start building out that direction. So actually, I think I'm going to play this one right here, which isn't going to do much for me right now, but hopefully that's letting me kind of get up towards that direction here. So we'll see how that works out, but give me a number 4 for now.
Man, shark and a sponge on that card? Totally unbalanced. Who's even making this
unbalanced.
game?
I don't know who did that.
All right, so I got a couple options here. I think, yeah, I like that card in that one spot. So I think I'm going to just put something out here that's going to give me that card. It's also going to benefit me here because I'll complete this clownfish. I covered up some points, which is not good. Oh, whoops. There we go. There we go. I think I did that right. There we go. Okay. Yes, covers up some points, and then I'll take that one card into my hand, kind of. There we go. All right.
Well, I wasn't even paying attention to you making that large L. Though you abandoned ship on the 4 in a square, you still went for a 4 fish pattern. Keeping my eye on
my strategy.
Your big point scoring moves.
To look at one area of my reef.
All right. Well, I'm going to have a tough time getting into those 4 in a square things. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a parrotfish down here. Start making a small corner. That's going to get me the 1 card. So we'll go ahead and snag that to my hand. And I'm going to have to find a way to start bumping up these puny guys that I'm going for and you're ignoring, because if the 2 of you are bumping up the big ones and I'm not on it, it's going to end badly for Josh's reef.
Can use some teamwork, Dean.
Yeah.
We can do here.
Oh, look, you locals with your collusion.
That was our plan all along. We talked before this stream.
All right. Well, I'm going to take this and put this right here, which is going to do quite a few things. So it's going to cover up another Starfish, which is good. It's also going to cover a sponge and a shark. So first of all, this is going to get me the number 1 card. And then I covered a sponge, so I get to move one up, which is going to be the red snapper. And then I covered a shark, which lets me move one up, which is going to be the red snapper again. And then, I'm sorry, Dean, but we can't let you run out there. So,
The alliance is broken.
That's right.
broken already, yeah.
That did not take very long, actually.
I'm sorry.
All right, so that does help me a little bit, I guess. Is now that you're moving up on that red snapper, I know that I need to start looking in that direction. So I think what I'll do is maybe potentially set myself up for the future. Although I left myself wide open with what card I need. That's okay, but I'll take this 2 card, which will give me another red snapper, and hopefully I can do something with that since you're moving up almost to the end of that track. My goodness.
Yeah, I mean, I want to get in on that red snapper action too. Sadly, I think it's going to mess up my my parrotfish plans here. I guess it depends on how I implement this, huh? We're going to go ahead and drop this 1 in here, which doesn't exactly get me where I want to go, but it gets me the card I want, and I think sets me up for the future. Snag the 1. Oh, did I lose that one? Well, yep. Dropped it off on the table somewhere else. It's not even the interface. I'm this clumsy in real life. And back to Keith.
All right, so I think I'm going to have to use a turn here to kind of get the card that I need. So I really want this number 4 over here. So I do have a wild one here. So I'm going to use this to just do some kind of cleanup here and cover up a starfish. Oh, let me not put it on top. All right, I'm going to use that to take this this one here to help me build that butterfly fish pattern.
Hey, those guys are invasive. You got to get rid of them.
That's right. I've got kind of a messy reef right now, so wow,
I'm seeing a lot of purple over there, Keith.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I don't know what to do with this. Let's see. That 2 isn't quite what I need, but let's see. I might start going for another. Ooh. Oh, those are the noises I make when I don't know what I want to do. Let's see. Let's put this back here. Back to my 2. Let's see. I might just throw one out here just to see what I can do with later on. That's what I'll do. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see where this leads us. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do that to open myself up for, like Keith did earlier, just so I can have some other places to build. I think that's a big problem I've got right now is I'm pretty limited on where I can place my cards.
Now, I really love the card in the 3 spot, and though you guys can't see it, the stream can, because my hand is the one on screen, but I do not have an ability to grab that card, which is a real letdown for me.
Me too.
So, I think I will go ahead and finish this small corner with the parrotfish here. And that's also going to cover up a shark for me. So I'm going to go ahead and have a look at what you guys are doing. Yeah, I'm going to bump up this the 3 in a row for the damselfish because it looks like nobody's going for that but me. And man, do I want to bring down this 3 diagonal, or do I want to bring down this 4 in a block because I'm so scared? No, I'm going to bring down the 3 diagonal. So we'll go ahead and drop that a position. And then before I forget what I played, that was a 4. So put this in my hand. And refill the market. So I don't know if we mentioned during the game description that the end condition is actually when this deck runs out of cards, and as you can see when I hover on it, there's just 18 cards left. So once that runs out, everybody takes 1 more turn, and then we'll move on to final scoring.
Yep, so pretty quick playing. We're already getting about halfway through here. So, all right, I'm looking here. I need to at least get close to finishing up that butterfly fish pattern, and I need to fix some of the damage that Josh just did there. So I covered a sponge, and I'm going to bump that right back up to where it was. We'll see if we can keep it there.
It scares me that you're now 3/4 of the way done with that 4 in a block.
Yeah, I got a little bit of work to do, but I'm trying.
All right, I will maybe try to redo the damage that Keith undid that Josh had done. Let's try that.
A new alliance has formed.
Our alliance, yeah. This is
All
like
right,
Twilight
make sure I
Imperium,
didn't
the fish game.
Okay, so I covered up a shark with a shark, so I will move this one back down where it should be, I think, and then move my clownfish. Oh, not the whole card. Just, oh, hey-oh. Well, fumble fingers over here cannot pick up that coral. Let's try that. I keep picking that up. Anybody else want to help me out? Yeah.
There you go. I don't really want to help you out, but
there we go. And then I will flip over the 2, since apparently 2 is all that I can possibly draw into my hand. Back to you, Josh.
Oh boy. So I'm seeing a way that I can jump in on this butterfly fish game, which will alleviate some of my stress, but I will have to eliminate a scoring 3 in a corner for myself, and I'm not super happy about that. So, how do I want to play this? I think I'm going to abandon that 4 in a corner. We're going to go for the diagonal that's worth an awful lot, so we're going to drop this guy in there, cover up one of those Crown of Thorns Starfish. That's a 4, so I'll take my 4. And then refill the market. This is actually an interesting play of this for me, and it's, when you've played this a bunch of times, it's fascinating to see how your play varies from game to game. But normally I'm the guy who likes to have a lot of control over the scoring market and get 1 or 2 things and just do all of that. But being maybe in the last position, I feel like everybody else is doing all the manipulation and I'm just trying to jump in and score where I can. So we'll see if I can get a little more hands-on with the points by the end of this.
All right. Well, I think I've seen a way to kind of jump on board with what Josh is doing here. So I'm going to use this one here. So it's completing a pattern for the damselfish, and it's going to give me a number 2 card. And it covered a sponge, which I think I'm still the only one with red snappers at the moment. So we're just going to keep working that strategy. All right.
Back over to me. I didn't even realize that I had covered up my clownfish.
Oh.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can fix that, but I'm going to mess up another spot. So that was a really poor play by me, but I will go ahead and
Dean,
leave
have you
that.
got a 4 you can play? Because that card in the 4 spot will make a 3 in a row and that L for you.
That's exactly right. Unfortunately, I can only ever possibly draw. I tell you what, though, I'm going to hold off on that one, and maybe, just maybe, that one will come back into play. Um, that would be, yeah, that would be very ideal, wouldn't it? However, I think this is what I'll do. Maybe I can fix that later on. So I'm going to put this here so that I'll cover up a shark. Move up on my clownfish and then move back down this one. And again, take a 2 to grab another 2 card. I can't get away from it.
Dean, king of the 2s.
That's right. I don't think that's what I want to be, but that is what I am.
You've got a wild there for next time. It's all yours.
All right, so it looks like I can finish this 3 diagonal. I'm wondering if that's exactly what I want to do, if I want to start down a path somewhere else and start covering up some starfish. I mean, I might as well take the points while I'm thinking about them. So we'll go ahead and drop. Oh boy, I got 2 options here, and I'm going to make this decision based on what's available in the market. I'm going to take that card in the 2 position. So we'll go ahead and drop a red snapper here, finish that up, grab a card from the 2, and once again, change nothing about the scoring, but someday. That's bucket list for me.
But you did mess me up, so that's good.
I mean, unintentional, but I'll take the credit.
All right, I think this is going to be one of those turns where I set myself up here, or try to. So we're going to start building over this way to hopefully complete that butterfly fish. So that's going to get me a number 3 for right now. At some point, I need to actually clean up my reef here because it's starting to look very purple, but we'll worry about that later.
That's future Keith's problem.
That's
right. Future considerations. We've got like 3 more turns, plenty of time.
That's right. Okay, so I will play a 2. How about that? And,
color me surprised.
Start working on. Ooh, that's probably a bad idea. I really just would mess up my spot if I ever did get that butterfly fish that has not come out this game. Those are not very many points either, though. So I think I'll just risk it anyway. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see how this.
Keith's been hoarding a lot of the cards that have a fish in that position. I see 2 of them from the camera angle I got right now.
Sorry, Dean.
That's right.
All right. So looks like I'm the only one with the parrotfish doing the 3 in a corner. So I'm going to go ahead and cover up a shark and make that work for me. So we're going to drop that guy in there and cover up shark. So that's going to bump up parrotfish scoring. And since Keith and I both have the diagonal, but he's going to make this 4 of a kind and I'm not, we'll go ahead and move that block scoring down a position.
I approve of that move.
And then since I played the asterisk card, I can now choose anything I want from this market here. And I'm probably making people nauseous as I jump the camera around half a dozen times on my turn. If you can't play well, play fast. We'll go ahead and take this one with the coral on it. It's another wild, and let future Josh have more options.
All right. Well, I am going to finish up the butterfly fish. Let me fix this real quick. There we go. All right, so that will finish up the pattern, even though it's really not worth much anymore. But we'll at least do it to say we did, and that'll give me number one here.
That's another thing that I really like about this game is that though the sharks give you a little bit of an element of take that as you manipulate the market, that even when you drop a scoring card all the way to its lowest possible point, you still score for it. So you never complete a pattern
Right.
and get nothing. So you always get a little something when you make your reef good.
Let's see. I will put this over here to complete that 3 in a row, giving me a card from the 1 spot this time, changing it up a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whole new world.
Trying to keep you guys on your toes a little bit.
Dean, I gotta say, your reef is the most beautiful out of all of ours. Your cards are perfectly overlapped.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. You seem to have the touch. I mean, you can't pick up the coral, but you got the touch for the cards.
I am being a little anal about it. It's not a lot of points in there, but hey, it looks good.
All right. So, as Keith mentioned, we got about 3 turns left. So I'm trying to figure, is there anything I can do in 3 turns? And, I mean, I can hypothetically make any of these 3 fish patterns, but I'm not particularly well set up in my hand to do any of that. So, man, what is the play here? I guess I'll go ahead and drop this one. We're going to cover up a starfish and a sponge. So we're going to use that sponge to bump up the 3 in a corner that is all me right now. And then I'll pick up this one from the market. And that card, I don't know, helps me finish a pattern quite yet, but I do see that it doesn't have a Crown of Thorns starfish on it. So it's another thing I can throw out into my reef later that will not cost me anything at the end of the game.
All right, and I'm kind of in the same boat here. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else
my
I
card.
can get done.
Hey,
well.
In the 1 spot.
Oh, you're gonna
Too
be
late.
I wasn't going, or I was going to do this before you said that, Dean. I promise.
Well, I actually can't use it now if that makes you feel better.
Okay.
I'm beyond that point.
So 1, this is covering a starfish, and 2, it is maybe giving me a shot to complete another snapper pattern here before the end of the game. So we'll try that, and then that's going to give me the number 1 here.
Ooh, that's a good card that I will not be able to get. Let's see here. I still have not completed my second pattern of 3 in a row. That's a tricky one. So I think I might. Yeah, I think I'll just abandon that for the time being. Place this covering up to -2, but I also will gain those -2, and then I will gain a wild. No, that's not a wild, is it? No, yeah, it is. Sorry, I was grabbing the wrong one. A wild, which will be maybe helpful coming up in this last round for me.
All right. Look at that. I was really hoping you'd take the card out of the 2 spot, because I want to play a 2, but I don't want that. Golly, I don't know that I can get much more out of building a pattern from what I've got left. And I don't have any starfish. Oh, I've got 1 starfish, but I can't cover him up. So maybe I'll just start trying to cover up some of these sponges and get a little more control over the points out here. Bump up my 3 in a corner and go ahead and take the 1 with no intention of playing it, but I think that's the best I could do to bump a thing up and stick some more coral in my reef. It seems good. Coral growth is good.
That's right. All right, so I think this is actually going to work out pretty well for me here. So I'm gonna take this one. Yeah. I'm gonna cover up a starfish and a sponge. So with the sponge, I'm going to try to make these a little more valuable. See if it stays that way or not. And keep that over. All right, and then that's going to give me the number 3 card, which is going to turn out to be a pretty good one for me.
All right, so got one more turn after this, correct? After I draw this card.
Right.
Okay, so I do need to go ahead and complete this one, but I don't think it's going to benefit me. It'll benefit me there, but as far as what else I can gain with that, let's see. Don't think it's really going to matter for me, other than if I can get one that's going to give me points. What the hey? We'll take this one, I think. Flip that over. There you go.
All right. Shame. Had the right cards come out, I did have one more opportunity to complete a pattern of something. Does not look like that is going to be the way. So I'm going to go ahead and drop out another coral. Just throw another point in my reef that way, and hopefully we can cover up that Crown of Thorns next turn. Oh, actually, I know I can. I'll take this 4, and we can replace that invasive species with some healthy coral, and that's a net gain for me. I've been doing a pretty bad job of kind of tracking where everybody's scores are at, but
well, you can assume mine is low, I think.
I know I've been plunking down a point here and a point there, and we'll see what that adds up to at the end.
All right, so this is the final round. As soon as that last card turns over, you'd actually just kind of clear out the market, and then everybody gets one more turn to play a single card of their remaining 3 before final scoring. So I'm going to play, this was the card I took last time, which will work out well because I can create one more of those red snapper patterns here.
Right, I am just going to, I can't complete another pattern here that I can see, so I think what I'll do is cover up a Crown of Thorns with a Crown of Thorns, but I'll throw a shark in there. How about that?
It's pretty good. The Crown of Thorns are multiplying, the sharks are eating them and doing their part for the ecosystem. It's not bad.
I sure do have a lot of Crown of Thorns in my reef.
And I'll go ahead and drop the card that I picked up last time, expanding some coral over here.
Wow.
And that's that.
Yeah, Josh has the best looking reef there for sure.
That is a lot of it's a lot of bonus points there you got.
It's the scuba diver in me. Like, I just wanted to create the thing that I would enjoy playing in. But let's see how it shapes out score-wise. So I'll go ahead and get up a score tally for us here. Keith, Dean, Josh. And we can just go through and kind of score them one at a time. So let's go ahead and start with the 4 in a block.
So I've got one of those.
And that's 8 points for you. Dean, have you got one?
I do not. I was not able to complete that one.
Me neither. So 0s for us. 4 in an L. Keith?
No, none of those.
Dean?
Did get one. Just one.
That's 9. And none for me. Then we got the 3 in a row for the damselfish.
I've got 1.
Putting you at 6 for that. Dean?
Got two of those, so 12.
Nice. And I've got just the one of those for 6. Then 3 in a corner, parrotfish.
Yeah, none of those.
None for me.
And 1 for me, that one's 10. And then the red snappers, 3 diagonal.
I've got 2 of those.
That's the big money right there.
16.
Oof. 0 for me on that one.
And I've got one of those for 8. And then let's go ahead and do let's do all of our positives. So count up the points for sharks, coral, and sponges.
So if I'm counting this right, I believe I have 8.
I'll trust that you're counting it right. I mean, you designed it, so.
I'll double check.
I'm allowed to cheat at my own games, but I think I have 8.
I've just got 4 points there.
All right. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Man, I think that's the most I've ever gotten from those bonuses.
Very nice, that is.
Yeah.
And then let's go ahead and subtract our points for invasive species, the crown of thorns starfish.
So I've got 4 of those, so minus 8 points.
Minus 12 for me.
And let me look at mine. I think I've got just the 1 at minus 2. All right, and because I don't have the official printed score pad for this, let me go ahead and just bust out the calculator on my phone and do the basic math. I'm sure the people watching the stream have already counted it in their heads, but for Keith I had 8 plus 6 plus 16 plus 8 minus 8. Looking at 30 points.
Oof. That's quite a bit more than me.
For Dean, we've got 9 plus 12 plus 4 minus 12. Ooh, that's a hit on those minus 12.
Yeah, that was rough.
13.
Oof.
And then for me, we've got 6 plus 10 plus 8 plus 10 minus 2, giving me 32.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And the victory over the designer himself. Whoo!
Yep, that's
I was
right.
about to ask if we should have handicapped Keith, but I guess we didn't need to.
I think you deserve that one. I mean, your reef there is pretty spectacular.
That is the prettiest I've seen.
Starfish.
It might be the prettiest reef I've ever made. Usually, I'm the one who gets to the end of the game, and I spent so much time fiddling with sharks and sponges that I look at my reef and I go, well, there's no bonuses and there's a lot of starfish, so how do I fix it now?
Yeah, it's always that last rush, the last couple rounds. I have 10 starfish out there. What do I do now?
It makes you just want to do better, though. Like in my case, the guy who scored half the amount of points or less than half than you guys, it makes me want to get back on the horse and ride again. It's a good one. I like this.
I'm so glad to hear it. Who's holding on to the copy that we sent you guys? Do you have it, or has John got it?
I took it back from John.
But if you want to get a couple practice games in and then have a rematch, I'm happy to play online anytime.
Excellent. I would love that. My wife also destroys me in this game, so I need to. If you know of anyone who's not very good at this game that I could play against.
Yeah, sorry. My wife usually mops the floor with me too. Generally, the sort of mental spatial management required to puzzle these things together is not something I'm strong at, which is why I tend to make 1 or 2 things and then just try and spam the scores.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's nice that this game lets me play around to that kind of handicap, because we long ago gave up on playing Blocus because she can see the way those pieces fit together in a way that my mind can never handle. We got a shout out in the stream, Rick from GamePoint, who said congrats on funding and excited for y'all. So hey, thanks for coming to watch the stream, Rick. We appreciate you tuning in.
So this game is playtested a bunch in his store at GamePoint. So he's one of the ones who hosts our normal playtest group.
Oh, fantastic!
Which is a great cafe. So if you're in Nashville, definitely check it out.
That's amazing.
Maybe we can do a release party road trip. I can come down and see your local hangout. We'll see how the world is then. Well, gentlemen,
Yeah.
we've got this done in under an hour, even with me bouncing around and dropping cards on top of each other. So thanks again for coming to play. Thanks again to everybody who watched, and thanks to Tabletopia for hosting the stream. I'm glad we got a chance to show it off.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was. Thank you guys so much for letting me join the experts at the game. Show me how it's done.
Well, I'm glad you got a grudge to settle. We look forward to playing with you again soon.
Absolutely.
All right,
Hopefully
guys.
we can get together soon, Dean, and do a rematch.
Yes, we can.
I'll go ahead and kill the stream, and we'll see you guys later.